What's up? What's going on, people? It's the BQF, Black Quarterback Forum, Black QBs in effect.com website where I just post all my reporting, a little intro, and all that information about the black quarterback. Let's see. Y'all know what time it is around here. We love the Black QB, baby. That's all it is. I've told the story plenty of times about why I do what I do. So I know a lot of people ain't watching my videos. That's okay, but trust me, I know football as well. I might not have all the inside information, but I can watch and see what the hell's going on. And some of these black quarterbacks have been losing like crazy, but they look good. They teams. I talked to a few different people about football, and I'll continue to say it. Colin Cowherd said before the season started, it's a quarterback-centric league. The league has changed drastically. I always bring up my age and how long I've been watching football, so no need to go into all that, but football has changed big time, you know. So it's not all about who has the best running system, which I will talk about Atlanta's. Bijan Robinson and some other teams got pretty good running backs, and it helps out the quarterback. So, but anyway, you know what I do? I talk about the Black QB, baby. I ain't been wearing no jerseys or nothing like that. I do got my Michael Penix Jr. That's right, baby. And I'm going to talk about him for a hot minute because I don't listen to the regular guys on TV outside of players, and some of the players, their analyzation might be off as well for whoever they play for, who they like, and so forth. Here, I just love all the black QBs. I watch them, and I hope they do well. But Michael Penix Jr., I think he's going to be. I think he might get Atlanta back to the Super Bowl in the coming years. That's the next 4, 5, 6 years. But he's pretty good. People that I talk to, they be like, I think he's really good, and time will tell. And in the way they call the league these days, it's all about the quarterback and everything else around him. So, but I think he's gonna be pretty good. So they beat up. I ain't gonna say they beat up on the Buffalo Bills, but they beat them. And of course, the Bills got a pretty good quarterback. You know, and they was holding their own in that game. They probably would have lost that game if it was in Buffalo. But it was in Atlanta, ATL. Anyway, so let's get to it this week. I'll continue to go over other things, but Michael Penix Jr., one of my favorite young ones. And I made a video saying that I wanted Lamar to win. Of all the black quarterbacks, Lamar is probably one for me, one of my favorite. And I talked about it in my commentary at my website, Black QBs, QBs in effect.com. Okay, check this out. Lamar has won 2 MVPs, right? Josh Allen's one. Josh Allen has about 4 commercials. Lamar Jackson. It's the Gatorade. No, not Gatorade. It's Powerade. Some drink, and he's just sitting on the bench in a uniform, and he says some comment. I forget what he says. Yeah, he's not the most well spoken. I get it. When does that stop somebody from getting a commercial? Hell, people love the Ravens. They travel well. They would love to see him in a commercial, but zero. And Josh Allen ain't won nothing. Lamar hasn't won. Other than Patrick, um, Jalen Hurts hasn't. I've seen him in just one commercial that I can remember where he lights his hand and he throws the ball up at the torch. I believe that's in out there in Cali at that stadium. Is it not where USC plays or UCLA? One of the schools. Anyway, he throws the ball up there and lights the torch. It's always lit. But anyway, and Dak is forever in commercials, and Dak ain't won shit. I'm sorry, he ain't even got to a conference championship game. And I jokingly talked about him, $60 million man. It used to be a show called $6 million Man. And I don't even get me started on the contracts, man, because Kyler Murray, I live out here in Arizona, been out here for a long time, and They ain't even gonna get close to a Super Bowl. But I'll talk about Kyler Murray and root for him. And I remember, I think that I called the radio station or something when he was drafted and or the first year and talked about him. And these guys, I don't even listen to these whack radios out here at stations anymore because they want to try to have something positive to say. I mean, not that I'm super negative, but I'm as realistic. Okay, the Cardinals are not winning the Super Bowl. They're not going to get close. Okay, but he's a black guy, and I'm going to talk about him. Jacoby Brissett played this past weekend, and played a pretty good game in Indy. Indy has a good team. Even though Daniel Jones is not the next pet, whoever, Peyton Manning, you know what I'm saying, who played there last for the Colts. Well, I was thinking of Tom Brady, but he is not. I mean, they have a good team. They had a good team with Richardson. I mean, I think it's Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I got the jersey. They had a good team because they were always in games, and it was like the offense was fucking up a little bit. You know, now they got Jonathan Taylor back. I mean, their defense is decent. You know, I still will say the better offense will win the game, which they did. They came back and won. I didn't rewatch that game. I tried to. I rewatch some more. I was rewatching some days that get late, man. Anyway, so football is the most interesting sport out there. Period. Partner. I mean, they got the baseball playoffs going on right now. I'm not a huge baseball fan, and I know NBA starting up, but baseball would have been over. We in week 7. It's October. What is it? The 15th, the middle of October. You young kids, baseball was over like the end of September. I mean, it didn't roll into the full month of October. We ain't even at the World Series yet. They still, but anyway, it's about football. So I just, some of the things that I look up and research with these black quarterbacks, I don't do it for the whole league because I ain't got that much time. So when I'm not being paid, I do this for the love of it. You know, I'm not trying to make a little money off of it, which it's just so many things in this world. It's absolutely crazy. But let me just keep this to football. So I like to talk about the winning quarterbacks and just black quarterbacks in general. And some of the things, you know, that just stick out, like salaries. I mean, but anyway, so of the winning quarterbacks, those some good games. You know, like I'll start out with, you know, Caleb Williams and Jay Daniels in that game. That was a good game. Them young boys was going at it. But Caleb came out on top. I was want some of that black on black crime. Let me just get up. Excuse me. They don't do that on the air. They're too professional. They'd be like, no, no, we can't do it. Commercial break. Anyway, so Caleb Williams and the Bears, they took on Washington Commanders, Jay Daniels. But Caleb was 17 for 29, 252 yards. They were saying this is one of his best games. Some of the headlines I've seen. Excuse me. That was an average of 8.7 per pass. He had 1 touchdown, 0 INTs. He was sacked 3 times, 16 yards, which they take away from the passing yards, which I'll get to. One quarterback that has negative passing yards. I think we all know who that is by now. It's Wednesday. So, and he had a QBR, still talking about Caleb Williams, of 37.2, which these QBRs, they just be killing me, man. He won the game. And a rating of 98.6. He did have a rushing touchdown, but he had. So, anyway, that game, I got to rewatch that one. That was interesting. You know, I got a lot of these young black quarterback jerseys, so they think Jaden Daniels is up and coming, which he is good. Jaden's good. So the Eagles, they got some competition in that division, as well as the $60 million man. And now the Giants, it's not all black starters. It only lasted a couple of weeks with Russell. But that young boy, they think he's a good young quarterback to be. So we'll see. But my favorite, Michael Penix Jr. baby, they took out the Buffalo Bills. I got to read the article, but I keep seeing the headline about Josh Allen going off in the locker room. I imagine he didn't have nothing nice to say. Every time they lose the way that they lost. I mean, he's not going there. Well, guys, we really played hard. We really played good, and I'm confident in you. No, I don't think it was like that. I think it was some expletives. They wouldn't make. Look, if you ever played sports, and I've never played sports at that highest level, but I played at, at an organized level, pretty decent in high school. Had some opportunities, but I passed them by. But anyway, I, however they want to present themselves to the public, when they behind closed doors, they at his level, he expected to win the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, that is. That's how everybody was picking. I watched a few of the shows. So, I mean, I'm sure he says some shit to the players. It's he's pissed off. So I feel sorry for their next opponent. Um, I'm just saying, I think they're gonna play hard in the next game, whoever that next opponent is. But anyway, Michael Penix Jr. them got at him. So Penix Jr. was 20 for 32, 250 yards, and he was 7.8 average. He had one touchdown, 0 INTs, and he was sacked 2 times for 17 yards. His QBR, 33.3, and a rating of 97.1. So those numbers are interesting. I researched them and went over them in year one of me doing these videos. I've been looking for that information. I will find it eventually. Because the way they grade the QBR is very different than obviously just the overall quarterback rating. Next up is Bryce Young. He's still winning there. I think 3-3. This is his best start. And just as I said about Kyler Murray, Bryce Young ain't never gone to the Super Bowl and winning it. See, they'll never say these things on TV. I'm pointing back because my TV's back. They see my lion, see my puma. They will never say that. I don't know if they can't or what, but I guess it's like if they were to say you got to be at a minimum. And Jalen Hurts, he was 6'1", but Jalen is different. He's built different. He got superior lower body strength. As far as the arms, I don't know who might have the better arm between Bryce, Kyler. I'll just say that because Jalen won a Super Bowl. He's played in 2. He's won 1. But anyway, right. Look, I'm 5'11", 175 pounds. I think he's about 190. Obviously, a lot more muscle. But, I mean, I'm 5'11". He's at the most 5'11". You got to be at least 6'2". I was talking about Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts is 6'1". I looked up all the stats. Trust me, I checked them. You can go look for them yourself. But short quarterbacks, so they beat the Cowboys. But I think Dak, I didn't write. Oh, yeah, Dak. Let me get to Bryce's numbers. So Bryce was 17 for 25, 199 yards, 8 yard average on the pass, 8 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 INT. He was sacked 1 time for -5 yards. And his QBR, we're rising. His was 52.9. He had a rating 114.8. Okay. And I haven't even went over the rushing because he was 3 for 5 yards. It don't matter. But Dak, and I just wrote down a couple of his stats. Dak was 260, 260 passing yards. That is 3 touchdowns. Now check out his QBR. He the losing quarterback of this game. But his QBR was 90.2 and a rating of 124.8. Now, I don't give a fuck what type of explanation you have. He's a losing fucking quarterback. I don't care if you give him a 50 rating and a 113 on the, or excuse me, a 50 just as a couple points lower than Bryce, who won. Bryce did have an interception. But, and I've seen that just a couple of times where the losing quarterback's numbers are better. I mean, the QBR and rating are better than the winning quarterback. And I get it. The losing quarterback may have played well, and it wasn't his fault. But those numbers they don't make much sense to me. So it was like, oh, you just don't understand football. No. Okay. Maybe at that level, but hell, Dak lost the game. I know it wasn't Dak personally, but the Cowboys lost. Anyway, moving on. One of my favorite I ain't gonna say love to hate, but I got a Geno Smith jersey when he was with the Jets. He black. Okay. They beat up on Cam Ward and the Titans. Cam's going through it. They just fired his coach. I mean, that team is not that great, man. So Geno was 17 for 23, 174 yards, 7.6 average per pass, one touchdown, one INT, sacked 2 times for minus 16 yards. His QBR, 37.7, rating 91.6. So, but the Raiders, they're not going to make the playoffs. And Geno, I was looking at the stat. Geno's thrown the most INTs, I believe. And he's got more INTs. I was just looking at. That's something I did. He's got more INTs than touchdowns. And Cam Ward, who ain't throwing a lot of touchdowns, he's still got more touchdowns than he got interceptions. That's why I believe in Cam. I be watching those games, and it's like he's struggling because he's under pressure seems like every pass is like he'll very few, and I haven't watched every minute of all his games so far this season, but some teams with better offensive line, the quarterback will drop back and he'll just scare the field. But he's like running for his life the minute he gets back there. So I think they'll be okay. I think he's shown that why he was picked, I believe, he was number 1 overall. So moving on to one of my favorite cats, Jordan Love, and they talk about how young that team is. The NFC wide open, so this is the time. If you going to snatch it now, man. Because if the Eagles don't get their offensive woes straightened out with A.J. Brown reading the gospel over there on the sideline and shit, it's not me. They just don't throw the ball enough. Nigga, play. Be part of the goddamn team. These players be into their feelings. Too much, if you ask me, in today's NFL. They all about their feelings and shit. Well, they're not throwing the ball enough to me. I mean, the players have always complained, but they were still part of the team. But and I ain't seen the sideline thing, but I know he's done it before over there reading the book. I mean, come on, man. And I know a couple plays he was overthrown. I know there was one specifically they showed. But the Eagles didn't score a damn thing in the second half against the Giants. And the running back, Scatterbug. And Jackson, don't hurt my heart. I mean, come on, man. I know it was a division game. But to lay an egg in the second half? All right, to the creme de la creme. Oh, did I get through? No, I didn't get through Jordan Love's. Jordan was 19 for 26, 259 yards, 10-yard average per pass. I got 10.0, so I was like, what is that? But no, it's 10. Every time he's throwing the ball, average 10 yards. One touch, one INT. He was sacked one time for 3 yards. Check his QBR out. He was a winner. 82.5. And the rating was 101.3. He had 7 rushes for 26 yards. So, he won the game. I'm just looking at some of these other QBRs. One of the highest so far. Of all the black quarterbacks, the highest. I haven't looked at all the other guys. But the highest. But the rating's only 101.3. So with a QBR of 82.5, the rating should be like 150. let me get to Patrick. It'll make some close to what I just said. So Patrick and they beat up on the Lions. Not the Lions. Yeah, it was the Lions, right? Yeah, they beat the Lions. That guy behind me. Yeah. Patrick was 22 for 30, 257 yards. His 8.6 average per pass. 3 touches. No INTs. Sacked 3 times for 14 yards. QBR 81.3. So why is this QBR less by 8, 9? Just not even an 8, whatever it is. My math ain't all that strong this morning. But less than a point, basically, behind Jordan Love's. But his rating, you ready? 132.2. It's 30 points, 30 points more, almost 30.9 to be exact. Points more. He did have 3 touches, he only had 1. But Love had the higher QBR. And he threw an interception. So explain that to me. How does Love have a higher QBR? He threw for only 2 more yards. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Yeah, his QBR is higher. Only by a few percentage points, 8, whatever, 12. Yeah, 82.5. So, yeah, 12, well, 1.2. I'm sorry, 1.2. But still, it doesn't. Patrick had the better game statistically. Right? He threw for 3 touchdowns. He threw the ball more, 22 times for 30, as opposed to 19 pass completions for 26. It just doesn't make any sense. If anything, Patrick should have the higher QBR. The rating represents that. The rating is 132.2. It's off the charts. That's one of the higher ratings this week. I haven't checked every quarterback. I don't worry about the other guys, but of the black quarterbacks, of the winners. And Dak had a 124.8, but he was a loser. So it's just interesting, that statistic. Hell, if you win the game, you're happy. If you lose the game, you're not as happy. So I always like to touch on the losing quarterbacks for a moment. Some of their statistics. Jalen Hurts lost, and the offensive woes in Philly. He is not. I looked at the statistics and I should wrote them down. Excuse me. Of the leading passers, and I did yards. Only took the top 5. It's interesting. I forgot where he was. He was in the top 5. So we had Stafford at 1684. This is just yards. Dak, yeah, $60 million man, 1617 yards. Sam Darnold, 1541. Baker Mayfield, 1539. Drake May, 1522. I have another stat I'm going to tell you about in a sec. But I will deviate from the Black QB forum for a moment. I like that boy up there in New England. I ain't never been a New England fan, but I do got a Cam Newton New England jersey, baby. But it was the one play, I think it was a couple weeks ago. I think any smaller or weaker quarterback would have been pulled to the ground. But he was being pulled by the front of his jersey by a defender. I don't know how far he was dipped towards the ground, but he still was able to make a pass. He was falling. That I know for sure. And he was able to make a completed pass. A few yards down the field. I'm talking like a 5-yard pass. It was like a 20 or 30-yard pass. And he's 6'5". So that's what I'm talking about with height. See, Kyler Murray wouldn't have been able to make that pass. It would have been complete. And neither would Baker Mayfield. I mean, not Baker Mayfield. Bryce Young. Baker's pretty strong. I think Baker's 6'1". But Bryce Young wouldn't have been able to make it. I'm just sorry. They wouldn't have been able to complete it. But it was a play that was it was interesting to me, because the strength and the accuracy he still had with someone all over him, basically. Anyway, just deviating from that for a moment, from my Black QB. Just to let y'all know, excuse me, just to let y'all know, I watch all of football, okay? But I just report on the black guys because I ain't got hours, so to just talk about the NFL, which I do love, and I will say it's everyone's favorite sport. But anyway, so Jalen Hurts, offensive woes, y'all gotta do better, man. With AJ Brown over there. I mean AJ, all these now. I think his last name is Brown, right? My apologies if it's not. But reading the Bible on the sideline. It's not the Bible that he's reading, people. It's just some other books. Get it together, man. Now here's the stat of forever, ever. Justin Fields. He was he completed 9 passes out of 17. It was actually for 45 yards, but he was sacked 9 times for 55 yards. So I don't know. A lot of people, if you didn't realize it, you realize it now that they take the sack yards away from the passing. So he was negative, right? He had 0 passing yards. And that sounds crazy because he did complete a forward pass, but the sack total, for everybody that didn't know, I guess you know now. And so Justin, you know, started this site 3 years ago. I think he was still with Chicago. And it's been rough on him, man. I Aaron Glenn, the head coach, he's a defensive minded coach, right? Aaron Glenn, great defensive cornerback. He played well. But and I guess that's how they say an offensive minded coach helps out young quarterbacks. Because you're thinking about the offense. How can I make my quarterback better? How can I secure? But a defensive coach, as hard as he tries, his mentality is defense probably. So I don't know, man. I mean, Justin Fields rough since he's been in the league. Maybe he just ain't gonna be playing quarterback in the NFL. So that could be the case. But I'll root for Justin, but these stats here, right? Zero. That's crazy. And he had a QBR of excuse me, it chokes me up. So you think he had a QBR of 9. That's how hard to keep. I mean, yeah. Excuse me. That's how hard that QBR rating is. 9. He's still ranked. I would think it might be 0 if you got 0 passing yards, but a rating of 58.7. How would he even get a rating that high? I mean, it's just crazy. Now, someone who was on the positive side, but he did lose, Jacoby Brissett. He threw for 320 yards, 2 touches. I didn't write nothing down for INT, so I don't think he had any. His QBR was 65.4 and a rating of 89.2. I didn't see what Daniel Jones was, who was playing against the Colts. So, but Jacoby, there was an article out there. He should be starting over Kyler just because he's 6'2". No, it didn't say that, but I think Jacoby is 6'2", 6'3", somewhere. He's bigger. He's taller for sure. Normal size. So he might even be 6'4". I didn't check his statistics on his height, but he's definitely taller than Kyler Murray. I mean, Kyler Murray is just, he's a short man. He can play football well, but the Cardinals, I mean, yeah, the Cardinals, they was handcuffed $46 million, and y'all ain't never gonna get close to the Super Bowl. Anyway, moving on, some more losers. Tua. That was one of the games I did watch, and I heard, what Tua said after the game about the players and the coach and everything. But that they were in that game for they were in that game. They played with H-hand. The Chargers have no run defense, 0. I think that's who beat them. 0 run defense. But Tua got to get a little better though. I mean, I think he threw an interception on the first play. It was the first series. I believe that was one of the games I rewatched. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, my apologies. But that game was going back and forth, and Herbert took them down for the Chargers, and they got in position. Yeah, because I turned it off after McConkey, I believe the receiver rushed down to like the 20 something or inside the 20, and they just let the clock run down and kick the field goal. But two of them were in that game. So I don't know what's going on in Miami, but nothing good. Uh, can't. Well, there was some rumblings out to fire. I was a Schottenheimer, right? His father, who's passed on, was the coach, Marty. Schottenheimer. He's the son. It's like, fire him. I told you, Dak. I mentioned Dak numbers a moment ago because I don't write all the losing quarterback numbers down. They lost. So, but 60 million, dare I say it, I'm not gonna. Nigga, you shouldn't be losing, okay? 60 million. I mean, come on, man. That's a $6 million man 10 times over. For all you young cats out there, used to be a show called The $6 Million Man. I always talk about the show, We Can Rebuild Them. Oh, man. It was a prominent show when I was a young boy. The $6 million man. Dak makes 60 million. And they ain't gonna get, man, I shouldn't say close. I don't know. Who the hell knows? But I don't think they're gonna get close to a Super Bowl. Not unless the Eagles, the Commanders, the Packers, the Lions, all those teams just fall off. And somebody from the West, the 49ers or the Rams, or even the Tampa Bay. Unless all those teams just fall off. But that's not gonna happen. So anyway, moving on. Cam Ward. I mean, they did. They're not the only Moons team. They did get a victory. It's the Jets. But they fired their coach. That's whose coach got fired. Not my man in New York, but this cat. And Cam, I looked up the sack totals. I think Cam was second. And he looks decent, but he's running for his life. Like I said earlier in the video, he's running for his life the whole damn game. I mean, you you drop back and you got a defender coming at you. It's crazy. But hopefully they get some better players, a better line, at least someone to block to give him a second and a half, dare I say 2 or 3 to throw the ball. Dane Daniels, everybody knows what's going on in DC. He's got a good team around him, and they lost to Caleb, but they think the Red, oh, I'm not sure about to call them the old name. They think the Commanders are good and that they're going to be challenging the Eagles for that division. So we'll see. I got the Jane Daniels jersey. I don't wear my jerseys much while I make videos these days, but I'll be buying them all. It's Black Quarterback Forum, baby. They don't call me the Black Quarterback Forum for nothing. And Spencer Rattler, he's a loser too. But the Saints, they need to build around him too because he looks decent. I mean, some of these quarterbacks that are losing, they look good. But the team, defense, or no running game, or bad coaching. I mean, everybody can't. All these quarterbacks can't win every game. I understand that. But some of the mistakes, and he plays hard. Spencer Rattler plays hard. He don't look like he shouldn't be on an NFL field. Excuse me. I'll put it to you like that. So anyway, that's what's going on at the BQF, baby. It's 34 minutes deep, and I gotta get ready for a regular job. So those who watch, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. It's nothing but a black perspective here, baby. The BQF, Black Quarterback Forum, Black QBs in Effect.com website. That's QBS, Black QBs in Effect.com website, where I talk about nothing but the black quarterback, baby. See you next weekend. Or next week. The games are on the weekend, people. I'm out.